everyone. We are starting now. My name is Sahil. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Vaughn. And today, I'll be a deeply unpopular guy. I'm going to talk about 5 myths about AI that is holding your revenue team back. Why it will be unpopular? Because some of it might challenge beliefs that people hold in this room. Some of it might be new. And I definitely won't be popular with most vendors here. So what makes me qualified to talk about this topic? I started a company called Rattle 5 years ago. Some of you might have heard the name Rattle. We were a Salesforce and Slack connection. 5 years ago, 3 months before Salesforce bought Slack, me and my co-founders, we thought that Salesforce and Slack belonged together. And then Salesforce bought Slack in 3 months. It didn't really impact the business, but we were definitely right. And that's something I'm extremely proud of. And Rattle, over the last 5 years, got to 200 customers. And our customers include Figma, Notion, Miro, Nutanix, and a lot of companies like that. But last year, when this started happening, Salesforce is down by 40% in the last 1 year. HubSpot is down by 60%. We know exactly why these companies are down. There is definitely the market is panicking, no doubt about that. And market is punishing SaaS companies. But it's also clear that if you are not an AI native company, and if you are just bolting on AI to an existing product, it would be very hard for you to survive. Salesforce knows this. That's why Salesforce is putting every single ounce of energy on building Agentforce. Mark Benioff knows this. No engineer right now is working in Salesforce on the core platform. Everyone is building on Agentforce. Because if you're not an AI native company and you're not rethinking the form factor, nobody will pay $150 a month per seat to Salesforce in 3 years. The same people in this room will pay $30 max, because all the value will accrue at the agentic layer. So that's why we built Vaughn. Vaughn was built, and it's an early stage product. We have 30 customers. Vaughn was built as an AI native product from the ground up. What I mean by that? The previous SaaS world was built for structured data. You know which department generates the most amount of unstructured data in every function? It's revenue. Everything is a conversation. Every support ticket is a conversation. Every call, every email is an unstructured data. And what is happening right now in the world of software, take coding, for example. Coding is all unstructured data. And what are LLMs really good at? Unstructured data. So that's why we built Vaughn. Before I tell you about the myths of what we learned on building Vaughn in the last 12 months, we spent $3.5 million in R&D, and we'll spend $8 million just in R&D engineering cost alone this year. What we learned and how we built Vaughn is that Vaughn is the singular super agent for any single task. Think of it as the Claude code for revenue org. Vaughn connects to all your data sources, structured or unstructured. Vaughn will then deploy 100,000 agents, and they will run for 3 days. And these agents will build a context graph of your business that will know your business better than the CEO or CRO. And then Vaughn can do any task. Most people roll their eyes when I say any task, but when they use Vaughn for the first time, it's any task. Vaughn can build any dashboard. It can build any analysis. It can create any collateral in your branding. It can build custom battle cards. It can create account plans. It can calculate territories. That's why I'll be unpopular with most of the vendors. It will calculate commissions. It can build any Salesforce flows. It can manipulate any data in Salesforce. and it can be a CRM admin as well. This is a very hard piece of engineering that Claude Code Cursor has solved on the engineering side and Vaughn has solved on the revenue side. So what did we learn? And by the way, if anyone has any questions to that while I'm going through the myths, please raise your hand and please do interrupt me. I would love to talk about some of these learnings that we have had in the last 12 months. The first myth. Whenever we talk to anyone about Vaughn, the first myth is garbage in, garbage out. Our data is not clean. Our CRM cannot handle AI on top. That's not true anymore. So it took all of us 25 years to get to, let's say, 8 out of 10 data hygiene. And I think we might never get to 100%. And the way the AI world is moving, how quickly things are shifting, I don't think we can afford to get to 100% and spend 2 or 3 more years. You know what I've realized? These models have gotten so smart that you just give them access to the root data and they can figure everything out. If you haven't used the latest Opus 4.6 model from Anthropic, I would highly recommend you use it. So all you need and all the data that you need is the data that you already have in your CRM, whether that's 80%, 60%, it doesn't really matter. But you give it your call and email and seller notes. That's it. Now, if you're not logging your emails, that's okay as well. You just connect Outlook or Gmail. And if you're not recording your calls, then I think that's the first thing that you need to do. You need to record your calls. If your customers won't let you record calls, then use something like a Granola or a Notion AI. You don't need anything else. If
What about MEM, GDPR, calls? How do you solve, or how do you see customer service?
you can use Granola. Is this recorded? So you can use Granola, or you can ask your sellers to take notes after the meeting and then just go into Vaughn or something and just type those in. Yeah, but you just need those notes. You don't need it to be structured. You don't need it to be tagged to the right opportunity. These AI models will figure out for you. They will see the time the note was entered, and they will look at the context of the note. They will look at the subject of the meeting, and they will find the right account or opportunity. So the truth is that the data that you need is already there. Again, your emails are already in your Outlook or Gmail. Your calls are hopefully being recorded. If not, then your sellers are taking notes or do use Granola or Notion AI. But data is not a bottleneck anymore. In fact, what I tell people is that most people who use Vaughn, they first want to use Vaughn to update Salesforce. That's like driving a Ferrari on a village road. We have this amazing bazooka with these LLMs, and we are pointing it to Salesforce and asking it to update fields. Do you think your sales managers and your CRO are going into 20 Salesforce opportunities and trying to read through what's happening? No. They need Sunday evening. Your CRO just had someone over for dinner. Now that person is gone. And the CRO wants to prepare for the forecast meeting the next morning. They just want to know, tell me which deals should I call bullshit on? Excuse my language. So you don't need to update Salesforce fields anymore. In fact, all the qualitative data won't live in Salesforce anymore. Your Salesforce will only contain actual hard data that you report on, your dates, your amount fields, not MEDPIC, not competitors, not use cases. All of that will go away or has gone away. Okay, second myth. This is my favorite. I talk to sales leaders every time, and there is a myth that if we just tell sellers what to do, they will do it. Oh, I just need to create a dashboard that they log in, and it will tell them these are the 5 accounts you should go after. These are your next steps from yesterday, and these are the follow-up items that you were supposed to do. one thing is certain, in the history of software, one product that has never worked across every single function is recommendations. Name me a single company in software that does recommendations and has been successful. You know why it doesn't work? Is because we have seen recommendations work on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and we want to replicate the same thing for our sales teams or revenue teams. But those companies have an enormous amount of data on you. These companies have more data on a single individual than it is generated in a single day on the entire org. And these people have spent billions of dollars on getting to personalized recommendations. But what do we do in the revenue org? We will apply the same algorithm and give the same recommendation to every single person on the team. And that's why it does not work. So recommendations sound really good as a pipe dream, but unless you can give personalized recommendation to every single seller, it would be very hard for it to work. If there are two sellers, one who sells, let's say both sell enterprise products, one seller would have won the last 3 deals because someone might have switched their job, and the other seller might have won the deal because there was a website spike, let's say, and there was intent. These two have their own worldview, and if you give them the same recommendation, they will reject because one of their worldview will be violated. So what companies use Vaughan for is they will create a base model in Vaughan, and they will say, hey, tell me what a good deal looks like, what a bad deal looks like, and then they ask their sellers to add their own notes for what they want. So a seller can go in and say, hey, I like website spikes. I like job changes, or I like these 3 factors, and then Vaughan will take care of it. So it's kind of a good middle point between personalized recommendation versus user preferences, and it merges both of them. Third myth, sellers are too busy to take on more pipeline. I speak to CROs who, let's say, have to hit 10 more million in new ARR next quarter, and now they're hiring 10 more AEs. Because, sure, an AE can't win more than $1 million. We hosted a dinner last night, and Perplexity, someone from Perplexity was there. Perplexity closes 9-figure revenue with 5 sellers. Low 6-figure ACV. So, and I've seen this before, 11 Labs, their quota to OTE or base is 20x. So then we started looking for data, which is like, okay, then where are sellers spending their time? How much time are they spending on external meetings? This will be interesting. We looked at 1,200 sellers directly in their Google calendars and from 50 different companies, and time spent on external meetings is 1.2 hours a day. The max was 2.4 hours a day, max. And I'm so confident that if you run this data for your own companies, if you see that data more than 3 hours, I will give you courtside tickets to a game of your choice. So time is not the issue. Sellers have time. I think it is reasonable to expect we should be on external meetings for 4 to 5 hours. Yes, like after 5 hours, it becomes very hard. You do need to do follow-ups, you do need to strategize, you do need to look at your book of business. But 1.2 hours, and while you have a headcount open, and your competitor has moved to a $5 million quota on average across the sales team, it would make it very hard to exist in this AI world. So what do sellers need? It's not admin work. They're not spending 6.8 hours in a day on updating Salesforce, which you don't even need to do anymore. They're not spending this much time in internal meetings. They are spending time on context switching. There are only so many deals that they can manage. So you need to give them more leverage. You need to give them a system that can hold context for them. I personally am trying to close $1 million this quarter for Vaughn, and I'm spending 25% of my time. I have other responsibilities as well, including product and just running a company and marketing and speaking at these events. And I don't remember what happened on the last call. I just go into Vaughn before the meeting and say, hey, what am I supposed to do right now? And it knows me. It knows my playbook. It knows what happened in the last meeting, and it will help me prep for that. And that gives me more leverage to handle so many deals that I wouldn't have been able to handle otherwise. So I think that's myth number 3, which is your sellers aren't spending enough time talking to customers as much as you want. And please do remember, I am offering courtside tickets for you and your partner to any game of your choice. Please don't pick the NBA final. But yeah, if the number is more than 3 hours for you. Okay, so myth number 4. I want to talk about the elephant in the room, which is agent. We haven't used the word agent so far. So in the dinner that we hosted last night, we had a lot of people from really successful companies. And one of the topics was that now every department is building their own agents. And CROs are building agents. Your head of product is building an agent. Your CEO sends you an AI CRM and wants you to build a CRM. There was definitely a fatigue in the room because if you're building all these agents, it is hard who owns them, who maintains the complexity, who keeps upgrading these agents when the next model comes. When these agents break, would you call the CEO and say, hey, fix the agent that you asked me to build? Someone said, if my head of product gets hit by a bus, all these agents will go down. And I said, if your head of product gets hit by a bus, the company will go down, like not just the agents. So we have seen this movie before. And you know what this reminds me of? Is dashboards. The same movie will play with agents. You will build a dashboard, the dashboard will break, somebody will have to be revived to fix it if that person still exists as a company, then you build another. We have thousands of dashboards, but whenever a sales leader has a request, you know what they do? They never search for the dashboard. They always ping the ops person. And you're like, I have sent you the same link a bazillion times. And he's like, yeah, you know I'm busy. You don't think I am busy? And we'll do the same thing with agents. One thing that I think we can all learn from Claude Code or from Cursor is these are not agents. You know, Claude Code, if you haven't used it, it's a brilliant, brilliant piece of machinery. It's a single agent. Claude Code will deploy its own agents, but Claude Code for you is a singular agent. My engineering team, they use Claude Code. One separate tidbit, 100% of our code is written by AI now. And I think I have probably one of the most expensive engineers in the Valley, and I see them talking to Claude. I'm like, why? So the myth is that we need an agent for everything. We need an agent that updates Salesforce. We need an agent that will build a deck for me. We need an agent that will create account plans. We need an agent that will help me with handoffs. We need an agent for drafting emails. No, you don't need all these agents. You just need a single agent that can do the work for you. So when something breaks, you just go to that agent, and that agent has context around your business. And that agent can help you fix things. Myth 5, which will be unpopular with all the AI tools, is we are buying an AI tool for every single department. Let's buy an AI tool for RevOps. Let's buy an AI SRE or SC. Let's buy an AI for AEs to build white space planning. Let's buy an AI tool for sales managers, for enablement, for CRM admin. They all pull from the same source. It's not a separate source. Everyone is just taking the existing context that you have and pushing that into an LLM. Now, Vaughn, obviously, we build context. We can handle very complex tasks. We have to build an intelligence layer. But 90% of the tools that you're speaking with, they are just hooking into your own data, pushing this into an LLM, and giving you the output. You want to see this for your own business? Take your call transcripts, take all the data that you have in any of these AI tools, just give it to Opus 4.6, and it will create a better output than most of these AI tools. So what happens when you buy all these separate tools? They all have their own semantics layer. They all have their own ontology. So if you go into these 4 separate tools and you ask the question, the same question, and you get different answers. So I think that's another thing that we are slightly off by, which is you need one agent across your entire go-to-market stack. You do not need 20 different tools. You need one tool that knows your business better than your CRO, has a shared intelligence, has the ontology, which is a Palantir term, knows your business, has built a semantics layer, has built a memory, and can basically do everything for you. Those were the 5 myths. Now, towards the end, I just want to leave you with a philosophy that I think applies really well to the moment that we are in. So there is a myth about we have too much AI. We have all said this. I was just at our booth here, and someone said, oh, I have too much AI. Maybe this is another tool. Like, I don't need more AI. AI, and you must be thinking, why do I have this image, which definitely is not AI. AI is like electricity. That's the best analogy. AI will be in everything. If you look at this living room, you have a TV, you have a Roomba, you have a digital photo frame, you have a speaker, you have a refrigerator, you have a washing machine, you have an oven. AI is like electricity. It will be in every single thing. Do we ever go into our home and say we have too much electricity? You can't have too much AI. What you do have are too many appliances. What you do have is you're trying to solve a lot of problems. Some of those problems are digital photo frames that if it breaks down, I'm okay without it. Some of those are Roomba, which have ardent fans, but it's still not a must-have thing. But some AI applications will be your refrigerator. Some AI applications will be your TV, if you like Netflix like me. Some will be your washing machines. And I think that's what we need to understand, which is we need to buy tools that solve core problems for us and aren't a digital photo frame. So those were the 5 myths. Your sellers have enough time. We are all building agents for a lot of things. We should not. We are buying a tool for every function. AI is like electricity, and we don't need perfect data. Your data is already there. Please use Opus 4.6. It's the closest thing to AGI that I have seen. And Vaughn can be the one source of truth for everything. Thank you so much. Any questions?
say let's put an agent on it. So putting an agent on a bad process is not is going to result in bad agents, bad. So what have been your observations on that? Because everybody's trying to like I have a nuke and I want to nuke every problem. Sometimes diplomacy works, tariffs work, right? So AI is the new nuke, right? Everybody wants to nuke a problem, but
Yeah.
sometimes automation or good engineering will solve it.
Yeah, I think so. This goes to what is an agent, because I think we have abused the term so much that everything is an agent now. And so take a step back. We had workflows and automations before. When you add a non-deterministic node to that automation, it becomes an agent. What do I mean by that? When my emails come in, log them into Salesforce. But if an email is negative, tag it as negative and then log it in Salesforce. What did we do? We added a non-deterministic loop there, because you can't catch a negative email with a simple filter or an if-else loop. You're making an LLM call, and you're sending that email to an LLM and asking it to categorize it as positive or negative. This was very hard to do pre-AI or pre-LLMs. Pre-2022, if you just had to categorize emails as positive and negative, you had to be at an Amazon scale, because you had to train so much data so a system will understand what is positive and what is negative. LLMs decimated that entire industry overnight. They all had to shut down their companies because of it. So that's what an agent is. Now, when someone says, let's put an agent on a process, you have to understand you are still just building a workflow and automation. It's not AI. You just added a non-deterministic node to an automation. And you would do what you were doing before. If you were building an automation on a bad process, you are building an automation on a bad process now. So nothing changes with the AI. The fundamental issue is still the same. Do you scale a bad process or not? And you should not. But yeah, thanks for the question. You need a specialized agent not because of its intelligence. When permissioning matters a lot, when all the scaffolding that you build around the AI platform, this person should be able to log in, and I want to see their login activities. Maybe I'm building an agent for a CRM admin, but I want to see all my CRM processes visualized at a single place. I think, so it's less about the intelligence or AI of it. It is more about what do you want to see on that software. What I tell people when, when I tell people about Vaughn, I say Claude Code has no shape to it. Claude Code is not a software. It's an API that you call. Either you send it an email, you send a Slack message, or you go to web application. And I think that's how I would think of Vaughn, which is like just a singular intelligence layer, but it does not have any shape. It is a headcount and not software. One thing is certain, that junior sellers or bad sellers will have a hard time in the next 5 years. When you're asking your sellers, and I'm sorry, I know that I'm out of time, so this is the last question. When you're asking your sellers to now close $5 or $10 million per year, where the quotas will go up 5 or 10x, it will just be hard for junior sellers who are barely able to make it to $1 million to get to 5 or 10. So that headcount will definitely go down. Perplexity, 11 Labs, Cursor, they have shown us that with being AI native, but it will only accelerate. Here's what I've seen with RevOps with regard to Vaughn. I haven't met a single RevOps person who wasn't excited about Vaughn, because they can finally get out of the ad hoc work that takes 50% of the day. Like, you start your day thinking, I'll talk about X, and you end your day having done something completely different. because all this ad hoc work comes onto your plate, and what Vaughn does, it self-serves at the sales leader, at the sales manager, at the enablement endpoint. So you know what RevOps uses Vaughn for? Is like deep strategic work. Is tell me what's breaking at stage 2. Why are we not progressing beyond stage 2? And they will spend a full day just talking to Vaughn and giving it all these tasks, and at the end asking it to create Salesforce flows and operationalize. What used to take weeks or months now takes less than a day. So I think that's how I believe RevOps will remain relevant, is if you have to add the value that you always wanted to, but you never had the time for. Thank you so much. Hopefully this was helpful. We have a booth here if anyone wants to stop by and see Vaughn in action, but I appreciate all the patience here. Thank you.